Greetings, true believers, and welcome back to another episode of Mutant Rejects. I am your host and leader of this hub, Dom, and I am joined, as usual, by my fabulous brother Phoenix.
Hey guys.
Yeah, don't wave, they can't hear you. And of course, Kathy will be by later. Unfortunately, she had to put our little mutant man to bed. But we didn't really want to wait because we have a very special guest this week, a wonderful, talented young lady who also happened to portray the Porcelain Mutant in season 1 and 2 of The Gifted. The one, the only, say hello to Anissa Matlock. Hi, how you
Hey
doing tonight?
guys, so
It's
glad to be here.
the pleasure is all ours. It's so nice to finally get another cast member on. We had so many problems in season 1 when they did the reshoots, and then in season 2 they just kind of forgot about us.
Oh no.
So it's great. We're happy to have you. I'm happy to call her a Facebook friend because that's a thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we first started interacting on Twitter.
Mhm.
Um, and it's always so encouraging, as an actor to have a group like you guys who are such avid fans and supporters of the show, and to take an actual interest in the characters as well. Like that as an actor is encouraging to me.
Oh yeah, I mean it was so easy to when you saw the actual character because it was so stunning and then it just kind of vanished and you're like, "Wait." And then I saw you
Aw.
on Twitter saying like, free porcelain or give her a name or asking about powers and I was like, "Yes, yes, we need to do that." Like I could come up with a story right now. Where's the gifted writers? Let me holler at them right
Yeah,
quick.
and that was all like you guys and other fans of the show started that whole like free porcelain movement. And honestly, I credit that to my reappearance in season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have come back without such strong support from the fans, so thank you all.
Oh, no, thank you. And to be honest, when you got set free, I was so happy. I was like, yes, they freed porcelain. They're listening. And then they canceled. But we're going to get into that. We're jumping the
Right,
gun.
right.
It's like I say to my wife all the time, don't put the cart before the horse. I'm doing that right now. I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
We're
We
excited.
have,
It's
we're
okay.
very excited. We have a lot of, well, not a lot, but a good number of questions for you. And I'd like to start where I actually first noticed you in anything, which was The Walking Dead, I believe was season 5.
Yes.
And since I'm an avid fan and almost got a call back to be a walker myself for the new show until COVID kicked in. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, what was it like to be on the set of The Walking Dead, and would you have been willing to be made up as a walker as well? Because I know I am.
Well, The Walking Dead was actually my very first speaking role for TV. So that was very, very early on in my career, and I loved it. To be perfectly honest, though, I was terrified.
Oh,
I was so worried about doing things the right way and like impressing the right people that for a while I forgot to kind of just enjoy the work and enjoy being there. But Denise Crosby, who is also in season 5, is sort of the leader of Terminus. Um, she was so wonderful to work with, and like between takes, she kind of took me under her wing and really put my mind at ease and like calmed me down, and it just helped so much just talking to her, and really helped me grow as an actor as well. Just having her there as sort of like a mentor between takes. But I mean, overall, it was such a great experience. The whole crew is very welcoming. It's like you're immediately adopted into this family. And Greg Nicotero is such a fantastic director.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
really
I love
felt
that guy.
very fortunate. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard not
Yeah,
to love
just
that guy.
very fortunate to be part of it, especially as, my first job ever.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
So, yeah,
for your
really great
first job
already.
ever, I have to say you did amazing because I remember I saw you in season 1 of The Gifted, obviously, and
Yeah.
we were going back, my family and I, and just going through The Walking Dead again because his fiance hadn't seen it, and we got to season 5, and we got to that flashback where Gareth and you and everybody are in the train car. As soon as they panned on you, I was like, "That's Porcelain," you know, and they're like, "No," and I was like, "It is. I know it. I've seen her before. I know her." And they're
You
like,
have
"No,"
an incredible eye then for faces, because I mean, I had hair back then too.
I know.
So
Yeah, it
not a
was
lot of
long and
people
luxurious.
recognize it. Yeah.
Now it's more short and sassy like me.
It's
But it was long
very
and luxurious. I mean, yeah, I grew up, where Google didn't exist, so my brain had to become Google, pick up the information and retain it. So when I saw your face again, I was like, "That's Porcelain." They're like, "No, no." I had to Google it and prove it to him. It was like, "Okay, pay up."
Yeah. Well, you were correct.
I actually had a follow-up question for her.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's part of the same thing. Did you by chance get to, because as she was Terminus, she had to face off against our queen.
Oh, Carol.
Did you have any interaction with Melissa McBride?
Unfortunately, I did not. I think the way they had it scheduled, they didn't actually need me physically there when everything was burning, So
At least you get barbecued.
yeah, I mean, you never actually 100% see me die on screen, so
No.
Hey, she could be back.
Right? She could come back. You never know. She could be out there somewhere.
She's hanging out with Rick and now Michonne.
Yeah, there we go.
I did get to interact with Denai and with Andy and
that was cool.
Yeah, with I met Steven in the makeup trailer. Like everyone is so great on that show. Everyone. They're just the nicest people.
So she met my first favorite character, Steven.
Yes.
Because
yeah. Oh,
Glenn.
Yes, I am jealous.
I love Glenn. Oh.
Yeah, heartbreaking moment in that show.
Him and Abraham, they were like two of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. And Michael's great too. Like, oh my God. They managed to find the most incredible, talented, kindest people and like cast them all in this one show. It was really great being on set.
Oh, I'm sure. And I know it's one thing to bump into these guys at like a Comic-Con or something like that. You never know if that's who they really are until you meet someone who's actually worked with them. So it's good to know.
Yeah, they're wonderful people.
If anybody's listening that could do something about this, we need to get Anissa Matlock in the Rick Grimes movie. So, because she's still out there. Her and Michonne and Rick.
That would be amazing. We'll see. Fingers crossed for that one.
And then Morgan can just kind of walk by saying, "I need to clear."
All right. Why don't we let you ask the next question, Phoenix, since I start kick things off.
All right. Well, by the way, I love your name. It is very pretty.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I'm a big Harry Potter fan and Slytherin house, so I like to elongate my S's a lot. So
I am also a Slytherin, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I know you. If we ever get to meet you in person, I'll have to show you the inside of my left forearm. I have the mark.
He has the Slytherin tattoo right up here.
So
All right. So, what has been your most challenging role so far in acting?
Okay, let me think about that one. Well, I think a lot of different roles are challenging for different reasons. I'll say like the most emotionally strenuous role that I've had is for a film that actually isn't released yet. It's called Frankenstein, and it's kind of like a sci-fi thriller.
So it's in my genre.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in.
It's directed by Rob Schmidt, who directed the first Wrong Turn movie. Really great director, amazing working with him. He had such a clear vision for like everything that he wanted and envisioned, and it was just a great experience working with him. But that role for me, I played the title character of Francine.
Big promotion.
So, of Fran K. And it's about her life. We open the film and she's being kicked out of her home for being queer.
Oh.
So it starts off on a really heavy emotional note. And her life just gets harder from there. She ends up turning to like prostitution and then starts to murder her clients. Eventually gets caught and all that. I won't give away much more than that, but
it sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. And what made it so challenging, I think, is we shot it in 5 days.
Wow.
So there was a lot of heavy emotions and transitions that I had to do in a very quick amount of time. Like it was heavy scene, straight to wardrobe change, another heavy scene. Maybe we had a light scene thrown in between, some of them, but it was shot very quickly.
It was shot in a Broadway style.
Yeah, it was shot very, very quickly. But yeah, I appreciate the challenge because it kind of forces you to take risks as an actor and really grow from that. So I appreciated it, and I hope the world gets to see it soon.
I hope I get to see it because now I want to. and at least in the Rejects Hub, we're all inclusive, hence the gay brother.
Well, that has to be a thing.
Everybody knows. It's not
know.
like we call you the Fabulous Phoenix. You're an interior decorator. We've talked about your fiance.
Yeah, I used to be a fashion coordinator.
A decorator. I might need
he
your
went.
help.
He's pretty good. Yeah, he went from fashion designer with the Inner Circle to now interior decorator at Essex.
That's amazing too, because my fashion sense is lacking severely.
Yeah.
Simple trick if you want to make a room look grander, take your curtains that are hanging on the side, take them about 1/3 of the way up, and pin them up in a fan.
Oh, the more you know, I guess.
It's a very simple trick, but it always looks elegant.
Yeah, my fashion set. He's been trying to get me out of jeans and t-shirts for years. I'm like, not gonna happen.
Which is sad because I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy.
I know.
I'm a leggings and t-shirt kind of gal.
There you go. So. That's my wife. So yeah, I totally feel you. You just rock whatever's comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like an amazing movie and challenging too. Because 5 days shooting, you probably needed a 3-day nap after all the emotions.
Oh, yeah. There was a period of recovery. I slept a lot for sure.
I'm sure. Now, obviously, we'll get into some of the gifted questions because duh. And so. How did it actually feel to go through the process of be transformed into the Porcelain Mutant? Because I know that had to be a lot of body paint and even Phoenix was saying that you had contacts and maybe you weren't used to them. How painstaking was that going through that, like, for the appearances?
Well, it took about 5 hours each day.
Wow.
Just to put the makeup on, and another 2 hours at the end of the day to take it all back off. But you're right about it being body paint. So a lot of the mutants, like Shatter, actually had prosthetics that they put on. I had no prosthetics. It was all painted by hand or stenciled with an airbrush. So it was a very long process, and we went very slowly, layer by layer. But the team behind it is just so Corey is the designer, and forgive me, Corey, your last name is escaping me right now. But he's a brilliant makeup artist and designed the character, and we didn't even really have time to do tests for the look beforehand. They had to do them digitally. So we didn't really know how the makeup was going to react to my skin or anything like that. So I remember the first day it went pretty well. And then the second day, for some reason, it decided it wanted to start flaking off of parts of my chest or my forehead. So they had to, between takes, come up and like reset and touch up makeup pretty much throughout the day. And then, the contact lenses, they're sclera lenses, and they covered the entire front of my eye.
Wow.
Very big, contact lenses, which I mean, I actually used to be a haunted house actor, so that didn't faze me too much. But in long hours, shoot days
Yeah.
can be very, very long hours. So I actually had a lens tech who, like, her job was to take care of my eyes. um, so yeah, every time they yelled cut, she'd give me a little thumbs up, and I'd give her a thumbs up, or I'd wave her over to come, put drops in my eyes so they didn't dry out.
Well, I'm glad you didn't have the reaction that Virginia Hay had on Farscape. That's why
Ooh.
she had to leave the show,
Oh, right. Yeah.
because her skin after 2.5 seasons, she like it basically gave her like burned her skin. So
Couldn't
Oh.
take it. Yeah. I mean, this team was also very vigilant about taking care of my skin at the end of the day too. Like, after the makeup was off,
moisturizing.
yeah, they gave me great advice for all that. I can't remember the name of the product that they used immediately after, but it was very calming. So I never felt like my skin was angry after the makeup, which I really appreciate, because I have had instances with special effects makeup where it did not feel great after the fact. But no, they're good about that. They took really good care of me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine those contacts. It must have been like having quarters in your eyes. Just, I'm okay.
It's weird for the first couple of minutes, because sometimes you'll get little air bubbles or something underneath, and you just kind of have to move it around through your eyelid until it settles. And once it settles, it feels great. It's like I don't even notice them. A lot of people do notice them, but for me, it's just, I don't know. I enjoy it. I actually have my own pair of black scleras that I wear every now and then just for fun,
Badass.
or for like costume contests and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they're fun. If if you use them correctly, your eyes will be fine.
I still have my cat eyes from when I did Scar.
Oh, God.
I can't wear
Nice.
it anymore.
I'm glad we got that information in. Okay, why don't you ask the next question then? She's
With the gifted creating multiple mutants for the series, would you have been willing to stick around and flush out the Porcelain character?
Absolutely. I mean, I would have loved to have gotten to explore Porcelain in depth. I mean, we didn't even really get to see her use her powers at all. I think that's what kills me the most about the show ending is not knowing everything that could have been.
Well, I can tell you
Yes.
from your appearance, you probably had super strength and limited
all right.
invulnerability.
Again, cart horse. We're gonna get to that. Yeah, but
I
it
love
was.
the speculation, though.
Yeah, the speculation is always great. It was so sad though, because to see you in the prison with Polaris, and then know that they were breaking Polaris' readout, I was kind of hoping you would be on that bus when I first saw it. I was like, maybe
Yeah.
they'll break all three of them out. Like, I had a whole story in my head of where it could go. Like, they'll break them out, and she'll, end up with the mutant underground and maybe fall in love with Shatter, and there'll be a thing. And I don't
do
know if you were.
remember there were a lot of Shatter Porcelain theories
Yeah,
going on.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you remember, but in season 1, I had mentioned something about that on Twitter. It gave you guys the coupled name of Shattered Porcelain.
Ouch, that
I think
sounds so
that must have
harsh.
been it, because a lot of people ran with that
Because just
on
those
Twitter
two,
and
that
on
visual,
Instagram.
that visual between him and you. Oh, God, it would be beautiful. And
Oh
then to
yeah, the
actually
characters
see,
themselves, the designs are just stunning side by side for sure.
oh yeah, beyond, you know. So, obviously, you said you would have loved to. So, and again, we were putting the cart before the horse. Did you ever name the character anything other than Porcelain? And did you ever think about what kind of powers she may have?
I definitely thought about it. I tend to keep a journal on every character that I get to develop, just so that I do have, things to reference as as the character grows. So I did have some ideas, but obviously with so much being like open-ended and having so many possibilities for where it could go, I never really wanted to attach myself and my portrayal to any specific names or powers, because I didn't know what the writers had in mind for the future.
Right.
And I didn't want to get too invested in my own fantasies because, you know, the writers are, they clearly have a very specific direction that they want to go in, and I think they did a phenomenal job with all of it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not the only one that keeps journals on stuff, because I have my podcast journal right here.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's Star Wars because I'm a nerd.
I can. Yeah, Star Wars. That's awesome. I have a tattoo of R2-D2 on my ankle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just makes me love her even more.
He's the only one that's been in all the movies.
True, very true. But yeah, speaking of Star Wars, that was something that I thought maybe if Porcelain did have powers, like the Palpatine electric, lightning fingers.
I did think of electricity for one, honestly, I did. That would have been really cool.
It seemed like a no-brainer just with the look and everything, and then you kind of give it that unlimited power,
Yeah, it would have been so cool.
It would have been super cool. I mean, God, what could have been?
Yeah. We can dream, or we can, keep our fingers crossed for maybe a revival in the future. Who knows?
Oh, believe me, we still are. We're hoping for like Hulu or Disney Plus or introducing some of these characters in one of the other MCU shows to try and put things together. Like,
yeah,
there was so much from the season finale in season 2 that we thought, man, this could go anywhere, and then it just stopped. And you're like, what? That's the worst. It's like I understand there are shows that get to come back and kind of like play out the end of their supposed story, or at least get a season to finish off. But this just felt so incomplete.
Yeah. It's just left very open. So like I said, fingers crossed. We'll get the opportunity in the future to kind of further explore and at least wrap things up. That'd be nice.
Like, get fingers crossed, all the vibes, juju, prayers. Please bring back.
Yes, send it all out there.
or do a rap movie like they did with Serenity or Firefly.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool too. I wouldn't mind that. All right, so we are. Yes, that's you. Oh, go ahead. Ask the next question.
So, who were the funniest cast members on the set of The Gifted?
Oh.
Who made you laugh the most?
There's her, and then.
I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to work directly with most of them while on set. I do happen to know several of them offset, but like on set, I spent most of my time with the makeup team because the makeup was so demanding. But they themselves are a very entertaining bunch, which when you're spending your whole day with a specific group, it helps to be able to laugh. So they definitely kept me laughing. But yeah, offset. Honestly, Blair and Sean together are so funny.
Yes.
They're like siblings. It's they're very entertaining.
Although I do have to say, for 2 seasons we've made fun of Eclipse. Just every
Oh no.
We don't even
Light Bright.
Yeah, we don't even call them Eclipse. We call them Light Bright.
Light Bright. Oh.
Just killing other mutants with colored light,
Well,
I love them,
I
but
feel
it's
like
funny.
Sean would probably have a good sense of humor about that nickname. He'd probably
I think
laugh.
he would too. Seeing some of the jokes that he puts out. And yeah, I think he'd be okay with that. I don't know if he'd ever come on our show, but I think he'd be okay with it.
Well, who knows? But yeah, they have a great sense of humor, those two.
Okay, cool.
If they ever remake Rocky Horror Picture Show, he could be the opening song. There's a lot.
No.
No.
So if you ever hear this, I am not laughing at you.
We're laughing with you.
We're laughing with you. We love you.
You just don't know you're laughing. But yeah, it was, and I gotta say, Jermaine was a lot funnier than I thought he would be, playing the character that he's playing and having the background that he has.
Serious, yeah.
When he came on the show, he was so funny. Like, he had me dying laughing a couple of times. Especially, I think he started talking about working with Al Pacino, and I mean, he did the impression, and I lost it.
That's because you're Italian.
Well, yeah, and it was funny. All right, so I think we talked about this a little bit, but we'll go into it anyway. How did you react when you first heard that the Gifted series had been canceled?
uh, I mean, I think everyone was a little bit heartbroken. You know, it was such a cool show run by an amazing group of people. I don't know. I would have loved to see it go way further than it did. You know. So yeah, I mean, I was bummed. I was sad about it. And I will hopefully not never know, but at the moment I was thinking like, oh, I'll never know what my mutant power is.
Right?
Because they didn't even tell me what they had planned, you know. So yeah, hopeful for a revival. We'll see.
Yes. I mean, they could have at least told you what your mutant power was. You're the character, you know?
I had half a mind to try to track down a writer and be like, tell me what I can do.
Do I need to try to like at the gifted writers in the background and say, "Hey, what was her power going to be?" Because we're doing a show.
Well, listen, if they had told you before telling me,
Shoot him.
oh,
Oh, I know, right? I'm just saying, whatever makes.
I would have been happy to find out at all, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great to know, especially if you portrayed the character. You know, there's still a small chance that any of this could come back, including you, which I hope.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so
there was a lot of speculation on set about what it could be, but
come on now, somebody, one of the writers, Matt Nix, somebody get a hold of her and tell her what her powers were going to be.
somebody
Please.
tell me, somebody like make my day.
If
please.
anyone has the right to know, it's Anissa. So please, somebody tell her. Oh, okay. Now we have some a few other ungifted related, non-gifted related. I don't know how to say that question. So why don't you ask the next one for Anissa, and we'll keep this thing rolling.
Did you enjoy playing Mary the Ghoul on Reprisal? How did it feel to work with fellow mutant gifted alumni
Renee Rivera.
Renee Rivera?
Reness.
Oh, Reness. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
No worries. He he deals with that all the time, I hear.
No, there was a show that he actually liked and followed our podcast. We were doing like a bonus episode, and we were given like, would you bring this character to do that? And my wife had mentioned bring Jessica Jones into the Gifted, and I said, oh, that'd be perfect. You put her in the inner circle as she has a relationship with Bulk, aka Renee Rivera, and he actually liked the episode, commented on it the whole nine, and never said anything about his name. So that's a cool dude.
Hey, it's Kathy.
Yeah.
Hey.
She is.
Kathy.
Okay, so yeah, and by the way, the reprisal, I'm sorry, is a great show on Hulu. If you haven't seen it, check it out, mutants. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yes. To answer your question, I had so much fun playing Mary and getting to work with Madison and Blake. They're both very talented actresses. I enjoyed it mostly because bad guys are fun.
Yes.
Especially when you are given room to play, and they did give me plenty of room to play. They actually ended up keeping all of my ad libs, and there's a moment where I kind of get everyone in the room to laugh, and that was not a scripted moment. That was something that was kind of organic, and they ended up loving it and asked me to do it every take. So that was
Cool.
that was a lot of fun. It was a great scene, and I had never shot a scene like that before. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
I figured, because I know what you're talking about, but
yeah.
I don't want to. You have
If
to
you
watch
want
the
to
show.
spoil it for yourself, you can check out the scene on my Instagram. But I won't spoil it here. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I did not get to work directly with Reness on this one either. But he is a very dear friend of mine, Offset, and I do look forward to getting to work with him on screen one day, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy, and unfortunately, somebody on this podcast, Kathy told me his name was Renee.
I was just
So
going
I
by what I
apologize, Reness. I will get it right from now on. I'm you're so cool for not calling me out on it and making me look like an idiot. I appreciate
He's a
it.
sweetheart.
He's a very sweet guy.
Yeah.
I fell in love with him in season 2, and he was so good to us, like you were. So I'm hoping I can get him on too. But saying his name right would probably go a long way. So shout out to Reness Rivera.
Reness, yeah. I gotta say, I'm really impressed that you got my name right. Nobody ever gets my name right.
Well, actually, I have now that I've thrown her under a bus, I have to give her credit. She actually got me to say your name right. She's like, "Look at the Facebook pronunciation. You're saying it wrong." I was like, "Okay, Anissa. I got it, Anissa."
well with an Anissa, spelled differently, but it was still the same
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, normally they are spelled differently. Or if it's spelled the way that I spell it, it's pronounced very different. So
Yeah.
So she's 1 for 2 at least. That's good.
Credit where credit is due. We like that.
Now, again, another one of these projects you've been in that I enjoyed. In case our mutant listeners haven't seen it, the movie Beast. Can you tell us a little bit about it and your character Lena? Because it was actually I really enjoyed that one. I got to see
You
it.
saw it.
Yes.
I'm glad. So that film is very special to me for a lot of reasons. So it's a coming of age film in 3 perspectives. So there's like 3 main characters that each have their own arcs, their own journeys that end up intertwining in a pretty wild way at the end. And the writer-director, Danny Madden, he's just got such an incredible talent for storytelling. He's quite brilliant. I've seen a lot of his short films too. Just really talented guy, and he really made a beautiful film.
It really was.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you liked it.
Oh yeah, it was great. It sort of reminded me of the movie Go.
That's
Just
the
a
one I
little
was trying to
different,
think of.
just a little bit more serious and a little less comedic, because it was again one of those movies where they tell it from the main character's perspectives, like you get the same story from 3 different points of view, and I always find that pretty cool. Like The Walking Dead does that a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting way to make a movie. It was a great story, and of course you got to play Lena in it, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to get
No,
that
you're
in.
fine. Yeah, Lena was this was my first supporting role in a feature film. So it at the time was the biggest film booking that I had ever had, and it came at a point where I was honestly feeling pretty discouraged in my career, and just getting to play someone who is as headstrong and self-assured as Lena is. Like, she does not ever second guess a damn thing she does or says. And I really loved embodying that, because it was the push that I needed to make me realize that, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm on the right track. It made me feel good about this crazy choice I made to pursue film and TV, because it's not easy.
Well, we're glad you did.
Yeah.
We're all happy you did, by the way.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. But yeah, I love the character of Lena. She's a single mom. Like I said, she's very headstrong, very secure in herself until things go very, very wrong. But I do hope that people get to see it across the globe very soon. It premiered this year at Sundance. It was set to screen also at South by Southwest, but obviously, COVID-19.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Beast. I'm excited for more people to get the opportunity to see it. And I'm very glad that you enjoyed it as well.
Oh yeah, I really did, and I'm glad you're healthy too, because Lord knows with this stuff going around.
Yeah, we're staying home, staying safe, staying protected.
Yeah. Whether they tell you to come out or not, it's like, nope, sorry.
Right. Yeah. Oh Lord, don't even get me started on Georgia's governor right now.
Oh no, that was another show for me too, and yeah, I said some horrible things, and I'm not sorry. So
Nor should you be.
no, no,
The
I
Virginia
think
governor's not much better.
no, he's a little, but not much. I mean,
As long as he's not opening bowling alleys there, like
right, or
that's
telling
beyond.
anybody to like inject disinfectants. Well, that's
See?
another. We're gonna stay away from that.
We love our leaders, don't we?
Oh
Ugh.
yes, we love our leadership. We are nothing
Somebody's
near.
calling my name that way. I'm gonna go away now.
Sarcasm.
We love our leaders. We are not any kind of mutant rebellion out here in these streets. We are not all about that. And
Magneto was right.
works for us. It's like I don't know what you humans are gonna do, but we're okay. Okay. Well, I want to get Kathy to ask a question, but I don't know if she actually has them or not.
I do.
Okay, so we're actually on the last question.
All right. Although COVID-19 has put a halt to production in general, do you have any future projects that we could look forward to?
I do. So I had actually begun filming a Western a couple of days before everything shut down. So I am going to be getting back to work on that as soon as we do get a real green light to go back to work. And that one, the first thing we're doing is kind of a short film as a proof of concept to fund the feature, because it is, an independent film. It's called Golden Tooth, and I actually play Golden Tooth. So
Wow.
it's a neat little, I guess I'd call it a revenge flick, sort of, but it's also like a really neat Tarantino-esque origin story. So it's going to be really cool, I think. And I never thought I'd book a Western, so getting to do one is really fun. Even though we only shot one day, I'm so excited to get back to it.
Yeah.
I've also got my biggest TV booking to date, which unfortunately I can't say too much about, but it'll be a new Amazon original. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out to Vancouver to shoot that.
Wow.
As soon as they give us the green light to resume.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Don't go there right now. Don't.
No. No. But if your listeners are not already following me on Instagram, that's most likely where they can best keep up with all of my future projects. I also I directed a short that's actually going to be part of a horror anthology. So I've got about 15 minutes of a segment in that. It's called Dead by Midnight 2. So it's actually a sequel. So it's my second time directing. And it's kind of this kooky 80s horror comedy. So very, very campy stuff. But yeah, so that's very close to being finished. And hopefully by the end of the year, maybe by Halloween, we'll be able to share that with the world.
Uh-oh.
Are we talking Tales from the Crypt campy, or are we talking Creepshow campy?
We're talking like Gremlins.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
You win.
like very.
He's happy. We're all happy.
Yeah, Gremlins / Evil Dead 2, I would say.
Okay.
Wow.
Just no spiders. No
I have
spiders.
to say,
those are my influences.
I have to say, I know you kind of have like a young acting career, but you have been in some pretty awesome projects and roles. I mean,
Thank you.
And
I've been very fortunate, I think.
I saw something about the Western movie on IMDb, and I was going to ask you about it if you didn't bring it up, because that's one of those things. Like, I think we all at one point wanted to be in a Western movie. Like, I know people my age played Cowboys and Indians, and it's like, you put me in a Western, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and I get to play an outlaw. Like, I'm so excited.
Right. Oh my God. Like an outlaw to Western. I mean, that's living the dream, really.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the things I'm most excited about for the near future.
No, I'm excited for you. I'm over here like,
Dipping your toes in the directing
and
pool
now
already.
I know, I thank you for your time. If you have one more minute, I did want to ask
Yeah.
because we were talking about it just before we got onto the recording here, and that is, I know a lot of fans who say, oh, well, people who play mutants aren't fans of like mutants or X-Men or whatever. Can you please explain to all our mutant listeners and fans of The Gifted that you truly are a fan of mutants?
Oh my goodness, I am. I unlike a lot of hardcore fans, I did not grow up with comic books or anything like that. I was very sheltered, but as soon as I was able to like branch out and explore different universes, like the X-Men universe is one that I immediately latched onto. Before the live action movies ever came out, I was like obsessed with the show, first of all, the cartoons, which I watched mostly in secret. Sorry, Mom. Um, but yeah, I always wanted to be a mutant with superpowers before even those movies came out. And then when those movies came out, I lost my mind over them.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you and me both, because I'm
Yeah.
one of those hardcore comic guys that switched to TV as I got older. But like, I was waiting to get Erg's first name since 1985. That's because I was 6, and they never said it, never said it, never. And then when they finally said it on The Gifted, I was like, yes, life well spent.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, I
I do
understand because
truly love
you and
that
my
universe.
wife
And
you and my wife
yeah.
actually have a similar a similar upbringing where she was very
Oh
sheltered
yeah.
too. So once she got towards me and watched the movies and stuff like that, she was just instantly hooked.
Yeah,
And that's
it's not
okay.
hard. It's like so easy to love X-Men and mutants in general. I feel like it shows uh well why it's important to me is it shows like just the potential, that a person has, even though it's a very fantastical potential with superpowers. It just shows like an ideal version of a human being, of what we could become, of what we could do or want to do in our wildest dreams. So that's why I love it so much. And just existing, even if it is just for 2 episodes across 2 seasons of a show, just existing in that universe to me is a dream come true, honestly.
Oh yeah, you and us both. We got to tell everybody we were mutants for 2 seasons, so we're happy. So we're definitely happy. We get to keep doing it, so we're
Absolutely.
happy. But yeah, and I don't know if you heard about this, but Disney Plus is talking about making a sequel to that 90s X-Men animated series. Would you be
I've
excited
heard
for
very
that?
little
Or
about that, but I am very excited.
I am too, to be honest. I just hope they get it right. It's like, don't turn it into something all
That's always the
modern and
worry, right?
fancy. Like, give it that little nostalgic feel and it'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they'll do it justice. But I have faith. I think they'll do a good job.
Yeah, it's another one we're holding out hope for. Like, good X-Men series, bring back the Gifted. Come on, please,
Yes.
please. Oh God, Anissa, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I'm gonna let you, have the floor for a minute if you want to tell everyone where they can follow you and just plug yourself. Feel free. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Oh, I mean, it's so much fun doing a podcast in general, and you guys have such a heart for this sort of thing. And like I said, the support that you guys have for the show and for the characters and just us as actors, like it makes what I do so worth it. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
If you guys want to follow me, I am on Twitter and Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram, but the handle's the same. It's at Matlock Artist. That's Matlock Artist. And yeah, you guys can follow me there for updates on just upcoming shows, projects that I'm working on personally. I've also started writing music, so some of the things that I release, I've put on Instagram as well. So
Oh wow! Like now, I want to get an Instagram just to see what you have.
Oh, sure. Now you do.
Yeah, she's been begging me to get one. I'm like, no, I have you.
Just make
You
one
know?
for the podcast, and then
There you go.
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like
There
your
you go.
Instagram.
Wifey boo, get on that one. I already made the Twitter, the Facebook. You're on Instagram. Again, it's a pleasure. Obviously, anybody that listens to this, and I've dealt with you in the past, and, on social media and things. You are a wonderful person, a wonderful actress. We are happy to support you and anyone in a mutant project. So thank you once again for doing this.
Thank you so
And
much.
the pleasure was all ours. I want to thank Kathy for joining in after putting our little mutant to bed. I want to thank Phoenix for showing up, and remind everyone, if you're just tuning in because you heard Anissa was going to be on the show, follow us at Mutant Rejects on Twitter, capital M, capital R. Search for us at Mutant Rejects Gifted Podcast on Facebook. Our page will pop up. We have a lot of followers there too. We're still deep. It's crazy. Like, we're getting people, and we weren't even doing anything. That's why I had to bring this back. Like, people are following us. I haven't put out a show since last year. It's like, well, we got 300 or 400 more followers. I guess we need to do something. And
Give the people what they want, Tom.
Exactly. And what better than Porcelain herself? So thanks again, Anissa Matlock. Thank you for listening to this, and we'll be back with our normal mutant hijinks next week. So until then, enjoy, and of course, Excelsior.